This is WFAA meteorologist Kaylee Dion with a check-in on Hurricane Ida and the 10 a.m. update from the National Hurricane Center. You can see all of the hurricane warnings and watches, as well as tropical storm warnings and watches. Most of the hurricane warnings are going to be along the coast, all the way up though to the Mississippi border, the state line there. You can see also up the tropical storm warning stretching all the way up into Mississippi as well. So a lot of area to cover here with this storm. So here's a look at the loop of the radar and satellite imagery. You can see the outer bands almost reaching the Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, and Florida coastlines. So conditions will begin to deteriorate later on this afternoon going into the evening, even though the heart of the storm is still in the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. The 10 a.m. update keeps the winds the same at 85 miles per hour, moving to the northwest at about 16 miles per hour. It's currently about 435 miles southeast of the Louisiana coastline. So it's moving into what is, let's go back here, moving into what is very, very warm water. And we talk about how Gulf of Mexico is a bathtub for these storms, and it's like a steroid shot, really. Once they get into these waters that are about 85 to almost 86 degrees to 87 degrees in the central part of the Gulf of Mexico, that's when you really start to see it intensify rapidly, and that's going to be the case. Watch this track. As we move forward, it's going to go from a Category 1 storm to a Category 3 storm by late tonight into early tomorrow morning. Then from a Category 3 to a Category 4 before it makes landfall. We're looking at winds at about 130 miles per hour, still intensifying as it makes landfall right around 5 to 7 p.m. on Sunday. So that's when that landfall looks to happen. It's going to quickly kind of weaken, but it's still going to keep strength to a tropical depression up to Memphis, and then kind of just drop large amounts of rainfall for the Tennessee Valley into the middle of next week. Here's another look at it with our TIMECAST. You can see it here as it starts to go on shore. The strongest part of the eye wall making landfall at about 7 o'clock via this TIMECAST. We'll have to watch, because if this storm slows down or speeds up at all, that'll change this timing a little bit. But it's just to the south and east of Morgan City, Louisiana. But then watch the storm as it goes right over the top of Baton Rouge and really just rides the Mississippi River all the way up to Memphis and into even southern Illinois. That's how far north the remnants of this goes. And then it starts to take a turn to the north and east going into Wednesday. But the thing about this is there's a couple of different, along the coastline it's storm surge, which we'll look at just in a second. Also the winds with the storm, but the rainfall is going to have a broader impact here on the southeastern states. 10 to 15 inches along the Louisiana coastline, 5 to 10 inches stretching all the way up to the Tennessee-Mississippi state line and going over into parts of Alabama as well. These locations all the way up toward Nashville have already been so saturated. I mean, if you look here, you can see it's very saturated in these locations that are going to see this 5 to 10 inches of rain. What does that mean? Well, when you combine that with the wind speeds that we'll look at here in just a moment, any saturated ground will make it easier for trees to be blown over, uprooted, power lines to be blown over with the winds because of the ground's not hard enough and it's very saturated. And then that's also going to cause major flash flooding issues as well, because the water really has nowhere to go. But initially, when that storm makes landfall, it's going to be the storm surge that's going to be a major issue. So if we look at some of these 10 to 15 foot storm surge for the southeastern Louisiana coastline. Then as you get closer up, as you go toward the mouth of the Mississippi River, 7 to 11 feet. And then stretching close to the Texas state line with Louisiana, 2 to 6 feet, but the Texas coastline not really going to see much of an impact here. But what happens is, and this is a kind of a good explainer graphic for us, is when the storm's moving toward land, so it's a moving storm to a stationary land. So Category 1 storm, you've got 74 to 95 mile per hour winds, 96 to 110 when you're talking Category 2. Category 3, you're looking at about 111 to 129 miles per hour. Now, what Ida is going to be is a Category 4, where you're at 130 to 156. So what's happening with this, you have those wind speeds blowing the water, but then you also have the motion of the storm itself that's pushing all of this water inland, and that's when you start to see those storm surge of 10 to 15 feet is when you're talking about that. If you look at Category 5, that's even higher and even more catastrophic damage. But Category 4 is a very dangerous storm. We're looking at winds forecasted to 130 or more, 4 locations in the dark red. So that takes these 130-mile-per-hour winds all the way up north of Baton Rouge. Then you've got up to 94 to 130 in the orange that takes you into southern Mississippi, and then 75 to 93 into central Mississippi, and then 45 to 74 all the way out toward Mobile and up into spots on the western Alabama-Mississippi state line. So this storm is going to be very catastrophic. Some strong wording from the National Weather Service from New Orleans saying if you need to get out if you are in those flood-prone areas now. Again, conditions will begin to deteriorate with Hurricane Ida as early as this evening for those spots along the Louisiana coast, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida Panhandle. Here's the latest. Again, 10 a.m. advisory, 85-mile-per-hour winds with gusts up to 105, moving to the northwest at about 16 miles per hour. Here at WFAA, we'll continue to have updates throughout the day.